In just 8 days, all Missourians will be eligible to receive the coronavirus vaccine. Thanks for choosing us at 6:30. I'm Lucas Geisler. Deborah has the night off. The state is moving along with its vaccine rollout after entering phase 2 on Monday. Now, under this phase, nearly 900,000 state residents became eligible for a shot. We're speaking with local health officials to discuss how this phase is going. And we're also looking into future vaccine distribution plans in anticipation of phase 3 opening up. We're joined by Ashton Day with the Columbia-Boone County Health Department and Director of Pharmacy Services, Denny Hamilton with Capital Region Medical Center. Thank you both so much for being here tonight to talk about the now and the present and the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So, as we mentioned, Missouri began phase 2 of its vaccine plan on Monday. This question will be for both of you, but we'll start with Denny Hamilton at Capital Region Medical Center in Jefferson City. How's this going for the hospital?
You know, it's kind of status quo. We've been doing this so long, it seems, from the beginning or mid-December all the way up till now, having mass vaccination clinics weekly, multiple times a week even. So, this week, the fact that we're able to do phase 2 eligible vaccine folks is like, I guess, second nature. I mean, honestly, this week we've been focusing a lot on second doses of our Pfizer vaccine that we gave 3 weeks ago, and some of our clinics have been doing second doses of Moderna 4 weeks ago. But we are anticipating, giving some phase 2 vaccinations tomorrow to some corporate clients through our corporate health clinic. So we're excited about that, and looking forward till next week when we can actually open it up to phase 3.
Ashton Day with the Columbia-Boone County Health Department. Same question. How are things looking in Boone County under phase 2?
Yeah, things are going great so far. Same thing with our department. We were really focused on second dose clinics this week. But more than anything, that phase 2 allows us to really start getting going on planning these outreach clinics and doing more education, especially considering that everyone will be eligible in the coming weeks. So it's exciting. It seems like more and more every day I'm hearing people I know that have been able to get an appointment because they're now eligible. So it really feels like that light is at the end of the tunnel for us.
I do want to follow up with you, Ashton, on that point of the second dose clinics that it seems like this week has had a lot of. We've seen them, announced sort of across the state in various places. Are you getting a lot of people showing up for their second dose? I know that there was sometimes a problem with some clinics as people will sign up, they get asked to show up, but maybe get an appointment elsewhere. Are you getting the same amount of people showing up for that second dose?
Yeah, for the most part, yes, we have. We do have our MassVax second dose clinic tomorrow, so we'll see how that plays out, but we're hopeful that everyone will show up. There are the occasional folks who, have to reschedule or cancel for whatever reason. They're not able to make it to that second dose. So if they got their first dose with us, we work with them to reschedule that second. But it hasn't been too bad of an issue. And I think even nationwide, they're seeing that in terms of vaccine uptake for that second dose, it's more likely. A lot of people are actually following through getting that second dose more than they have with past vaccines. So that's very exciting. People want that full effectiveness.
Denny Hamilton, I want to ask about what demand is looking like. You called it sort of, maybe to paraphrase, sort of second nature now, running these clinics as you have since December. How is demand looking like now that it's opened up? Still the same level as it's really been since it's opened up to the public, to the wider audience of the public, or you may be seeing it curb a little bit as this has gone on. What's demand looking like right now?
It has curbed a little bit, and that's probably for two reasons. One, I think a majority of folks are getting vaccinated in those phases, and we're kind of tapping the limit with those groups. But secondly, I think we're getting more more vaccines coming to us, and I think some of the surrounding health departments, federal qualified providers as well. So for those two reasons, I think we've seen a little bit more supply than we have in the past, and it's impacted our the demand needs and that curve. But still we're anxiously waiting to see really what will happen next week when it's phase 3, and I suspect we'll be filling a lot of scheduled appointments very quickly.
On phase three, I am curious. These phases that we've seen so far have kind of limited it to whether it's your health condition, your age, or the industry that you work in. Denny Hamilton, will phase three really open it up to really any more people that aren't qualified right now? Have you heard from people who are waiting for phase three specifically?
Oh, definitely. We've got a waiting list of folks that call our scheduling a line and get placed on a waiting list just so that they can be one of the first when phase three does open up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know that list as of today was approaching 500-600. So yeah, a lot of them.
Ashton Day, same question about demand in Boone County. Has it stayed pretty steady as this has gone on? Or maybe are you seeing maybe demand starting to curb a little bit as this continues?
Yeah, I think it has, same points that Denny made. It does seem like this week there may have been more appointments than we anticipated that were still open as the week went on. But I think some of that is people aren't quite sure if they're eligible or not. So that April 9th date, now that everyone will be eligible, will increase a lot of people trying to book those appointments. And I think, yeah, there are still a lot of people who are waiting, especially when you consider Columbia and our large college student population. And so that puts a lot of people eligible in the coming weeks, which is very exciting.
I want to follow up, if I can, with you both on a report the Missouri Hospital Association put out this week. It shows hospitalizations among elderly people on a downward trend, but hospitalizations among young people increasing. Ashton Day, I know it was about 16 people in the hospital at the county's last report. Is that the trend seen here?
So we looked into this specifically for our Boone County residents, and we are not seeing this across our data. In fact, the hospitalization average age has stayed pretty steady. In December, the average age was 63, and as of February 1st, that was still 65. So that has kind of continued. And there's no indication of this changing relative to younger people since vaccinations have started. But overall, hospitalizations have slowed down, which is very exciting. But that is something that we will continue to watch and monitor, and we hope will continue to go down as more people get their vaccine.
All right. Well, let's continue this conversation after this commercial break here with Denny Hamilton and Ashton Day about coronavirus vaccines. Stay with us. ABC 17 News at 6:30. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with local health officials about the state's vaccine rollout just 8 days before Missouri enters phase 3 of its vaccine plan. Our guests include Ashton Day with the Columbia-Boone County Health Department and Denny Hamilton with Capital Region Medical Center. Denny, let's start with you on some news that Cole County came out with today. Capital Region is working with the county health providers and local leaders on a permanent vaccination site at Capitol Mall. What can you tell us about the partnership, and what do you think it will do to get ahead in the pandemic?
You know, the partnership stems literally from when we started doing the vaccinations back in December and early January. I mean, we've had a great collaborative effort in Jefferson City, Cole County area between Capital Region, St. Mary's, JCMG, Community Health Center, and Cole County Health Departments. Pretty much everybody that's involved in vaccinating. As we kind of matured and got through a lot of our own healthcare workers and vaccinated those folks, and then moved across the tiers of phase 1, we continue to collaborate, share vaccine. We would receive it and redistribute it to a lot of different areas. And then, most recently we started with the educators at the Link here in Jefferson City, and provided a large mass clinic there, and that was a collaborative effort of all of us. So it just kind of worked well to be able to reproduce that. And luckily enough, the Capitol Mall has some space for us to use, and I think we're excited about it. Starting I think April 12th is when the county is going to start providing those vaccinations, and I think Capital Region is trying to actually have a mass clinic on April 10th, Saturday the 10th. So we're working on trying to make sure everything's established for that. But exciting, the collaborative efforts are well and good down here in Cole County.
Sure. And Ashton Day, is the county health department in Boone County working with local leaders or any other sort of agencies to set up these sort of maybe a permanent vaccination clinic there?
Yeah, we have some things in the works right now. Obviously, all of it depends on supply. And so we are still figuring out the logistics of that. But we have been extremely fortunate to have wonderful partners in our local hospitals. Both MU Healthcare and Boone Health have been fantastic to work with, whether it's, helping each other out with staffing or reallocating vaccines to make sure our community is taken care of. It's been great to work with them. And throughout the whole process, we also have been in close contact with all of the other local vaccinators in Boone County, just making sure that they are set up to, vaccinate as many people as possible and have those doses ready to do so. So we're looking forward to continuing those relationships and getting everyone vaccinated.
Today I saw a St. Louis brewery was partnering up with a local pharmacy to hold a vaccination event for their workers and just for others there at their beer hall. I want to ask Ashton, have you heard or of any sort of businesses teaming up with vaccinators to hold these events? Or maybe is the health department working with a private business to do something like that?
Yeah, as I said, we have some things in the works.
Sure.
We are very excited to announce probably next week or the week after. There are still a few little logistical things we need to figure out, but once we do get that finalized, we will share that with the media, the public. We really encourage people to follow us on Facebook and Twitter if they don't already, because we will share that directly out to them as well. But yeah, we have a lot of awesome business partners in the community that we're trying to work with.
Denny Hamilton, I think earlier you said that you were working with maybe some corporate partners on vaccination events. What's business interest been like in holding events specifically for their workers? Maybe they're on site at their workplace, maybe elsewhere for it. What's the interest been like there?
It's been pretty good, honestly. We have some corporate clients that our corporate health clinic works with on a regular basis. And as soon as we reached phase 2, we reached out to those businesses that were eligible for phase 2 vaccination, and a handful accepted our offer, and we went on site to their businesses and vaccinated, and plan to do so with phase 3 as well. So there's a handful that we've already been in contact with, and things are in the works.
And a question for Ashton Day here. Is this partnerships that the health department would encourage, maybe if a business has maybe a relationship with a pharmacy that is a qualified vaccinator? Would it maybe encourage a team up of something like that? Would that be okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think our goal not only is shots in arms, but also to reduce those barriers for anybody. So, if there's something like a certain business, maybe it's hard for their employees to get to a vaccine clinic because they work that 9 to 5 or, midnight to 5 a.m., whatever the shift may be, and they need to set something up. Absolutely work with a vaccinator if they are able to do that with you. We do also have on our como.gov/coronavirus page, under business guidance, we do have a form that businesses can fill out if they know they're interested in getting their employees vaccinated. And then we also work with Boone Health pretty closely on setting those up. And so that is an option. If anyone wants to reach out to our department, they can.
The news business, you learn all about weird work hours, that's for sure. Well, again, we'll continue this conversation later in the show, so stay with us. Welcome back. We're wrapping up a live Q&A tonight with local health officials about vaccine efforts here in Missouri. Our guests include Ashton Day with the Columbia-Boone County Health Department and Denny Hamilton with Capital Region Medical Center. Ashton, I'd like to start this segment with you. We heard this week from a woman at a Columbia vaccination event that the department helped put on, the Live Well by Faith program, and she told the reporter that she liked having the smaller setting to get the vaccine, made her feel more comfortable being there in a church. Do you think there's merit to holding events like this in these smaller settings rather than maybe the big ones that we see at things like Arrowhead Stadium? What's the merit in having it at a small place like a church?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the decision to get vaccinated is a personal one for a lot of people, and it's something that they take a lot of time to consider and go through that decision-making process. And so I think having an option that is not only convenient but really familiar is very helpful for a lot of people to build that trust and know that they are making the right decision to get the vaccine. And so it's very nice, especially for our community members who may have experienced mistrust in the medical field or with government in the past. And so there's a huge benefit to having those clinics where people are familiar with the folks. They go and they see their neighbor or someone they see at church every week. It helps a lot. It helps people feel comfortable.
Denny Hamilton, this might be more of a prospective question for you. I'm curious if you think maybe the decentralizing vaccinations, right, making them available at lots of different spots around town, around the county, do you think that might help overcome whatever vaccine hesitancy might exist in your community in getting the shots?
Oh, I think it's got to help. I mean, it's just, overcoming one of those other additional barriers of hesitancy by making it available really wherever they might go, where they grocery shop. And ideally, in the future, we have get a plan to where we can actually have it at urgent care clinics and family practice clinics on a regular basis. So how can it be not more familiar if you're with your family physician to be able to get your vaccine? So hopefully that's in the near future, because other types of vaccines make it a little bit easier to manage that type of vaccination in those areas.
Certainly, hesitancy is something that we'll probably talk a lot about in the coming months here as Phase 3 opens up next week. Ashton Day, Denny Hamilton, thank you both so much for being here tonight.